Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Thousand Oaks City Council meeting for Tuesday, December 9th, 2014. If you'd all please rise and join me in saluting our flag. Ready? Begin. Madam Clerk, could you call roll for tonight's meeting, please?
Councilmember Bill De La Pena.
Present.
Councilmember Price.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Adam.
Here.
Mayor Fox.
Here. Item 4, this is not a special meeting, but it's a reorganization meeting, so we have a little bit of a different agenda. And I'd like to introduce the former mayors and council members that are here with us this evening. So when I call his or her name, if you just give them a moment, have them stand, and then we'll recognize their city service when all of them have had a chance to stand. So we have former Mayor Ray Garcia, Ed Jones. Yeah, please stand if you're here. Larry Horner is here with his wife Betty. Dick Hughes, Frank Schillo, and Bob Lewis. I think we got everybody. Okay, please give these gentlemen a round of applause for their service. We have some other elected officials here this evening as well. We have from the city of Simi Valley, their Mayor Bob Huber. Bob is here. I'm told our county supervisor, Linda Parks. Has Linda made it here yet? Okay, Linda may be on her way. We have from the Conejo Recreation and Park District, we have their chair, Joe Gibson. Joe is here, as well as General Manager Jim Friedel. We also have Nancy Dillon, former City Clerk Emeritus. Nancy. Okay. We have Jason Barnes, representing Julia Brownlee from the United States Congress. Jason is here. Marie Lakin, representing Senator Fan Pavley. And George Lang, also from the Park District. George is here. Okay. And Philippa Classic is here also. Philippa, there's Philippa there. Thanks for coming very much. Let's give all these individuals a round of applause as well. We also have our planning commissioners, and where I believe most of us started way back when, starting on the planning commission. We have Darrell Reynolds. Darrell is here. Pete Turpel and Dan Roundtree. If you'd give our planning commissioners a round of applause. Also, we have Doug Nichols here. Doug is here. Doug, there you are up there. All right. Thank you, Doug. From the Greater Conejo Valley Chamber of Commerce, we have the president and CEO and one of the sponsors of today's State of the City address, Jill Lederer. Jill is here. Also want to acknowledge anybody else who has served on a city board or commission or really in any volunteer capacity. As I mentioned in the State of the City speech today, one of the things that I think makes us such a special community is the people that care. We are a community that cares, and we show that through our volunteerism. So for all those that have served on boards, commissions, volunteered in the community, please give them a warm round of applause as well. We move now to item 5, that's public comment. Madam Clerk, could you call public comment, please?
This is the time and place for public comments. The speaker card is available for those wishing to address the City Council regarding items on the agenda or on a subject within the city's jurisdiction. All remarks should be addressed to the Council as a whole, and all documents for City Council and the official record should be presented to the City Clerk prior to speaking. Speakers are requested to state their name and community of residence for the record. Under state law, public comment matters may not be considered by the Council unless listed on the agenda, but may be referred to the City Manager for administrative follow-up. 3 people have presented cards. And pursuant to council standards, speakers are allowed 3 minutes. The yellow light displays when you have 1 minute remaining.
Thank you, Ms. Lawrence. We have 3 speaker cards. We'll start with Nancy Frawley. Following Ms. Frawley will be Linda Colburn, and then Luca de la Pena.
Good evening, Mayor Fox and council members. First, let me start out by, I wasn't supposed to be in this part. I'm supposed to be in the next part, but I'm going to go ahead. I am here representing Assemblywoman Jackie Irwin, who is in Sacramento tonight. She asked me to come by and say thank you to Andy, to say thank you for serving the people of Thousand Oaks, to say thank you for your unwavering skills as a mediator, to say thank you for your very wise and clever and somewhat creative ways that you solve problems that come before this council. She asked me to thank you for being the driving force behind the new harmony and balance on this council over the past 2 years. It was very fitting that you were at the helm during our city's 50th anniversary, and we look forward to your leadership as we begin the next 50. She also asked me to thank you, and I'm going to get a little choked up, for being her mentor. She said that your advice and your guidance helped her serve the people of Thousand Oaks and now the people of the Assembly District. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Nancy. Linda Colburn, and then following Linda will be our last speaker, Luca de la Pena.
Hi, I brought my husband for moral support.
Okay.
John and I are very pleased to be here. We are just here to introduce our new business that we've opened in Westlake Village in the city of Thousand Oaks side. It's called Pedigo 101, and we are selling and renting electric bicycles. Was able to attend the city State of the Address today and really feel that our product and our services are going to be really in line with what the city wants to do in terms of keeping the open spaces open, encouraging outdoor activity, and allowing other people besides just the super fit among us to experience the beautiful bike paths and the great environment that you all have contributed to creating here. So that's all we're here to say. Thank you very much for letting us speak.
Thank you. Okay, thanks for coming down tonight. Our last speaker is a young man that I have known since he was born. I guess that's one of the benefits of being on the council for so long, is as we've had children. Claudia had both boys while she was serving on the city council. And here to speak as our last speaker is one of her sons, Luca de la Pena. By the way, Luca, if you don't know, and you probably don't, if he felt like it, he could speak in 3 different languages. Because when his mom bawls him out, it's in German.
Hello, my name is Luca de la Pena and I live in Thousand Oaks. I want to congratulate the recently elected and re-elected members to our council, and especially congratulations to my mom, Claudia Bell de la Pena. Have a great next 4 years and Merry Christmas to all.
Nice job, boys. Let's give them a round of applause. Item 6 is department reports, and I'll turn it over to Mrs. Lawrence for a report from the city clerk.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. You have before you a resolution declaring the results of the general municipal election held on November 4th, 2014. The county clerk has certified the canvass of votes cast for 3 offices of member of the city council for the city of Thousand Oaks. City council is asked to adopt the resolution declaring the election of Claudia Bill de la Pena, Andy Fox, and Joel Price for the term of 4 years. Thank you.
That's a resolution, so we're going to need a motion. And since you weren't on the ballot, Al, I'm going to ask you to make the motion.
Yeah, I move the election results.
All right, Mr. Adam moves the resolution, the election results. Any discussion on that? I think you pretty much said it all. All right, vote please.
And that motion carries 4-0.
That is approved. Item 7 is the oath of office, and I believe Mrs.
Yes, if the council members can please join me at the dais. If you could please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter. Very good. Oaths here. Okay. Sign right here.
Last chance.
Claudia right here. By all means. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
I believe we move now to item 8, that's special presentations. And
Mayor, we're going to the council vacancy report, 6B.
okay. Oh, thank you. We need a department report on that as well.
Yes. Thank you. As a result of Councilmember Jackie Irwin's successful election to the State Assembly from this November 4th, 2014 election, she submitted her resignation as council member with her last official day as November 25th, 2014. This results in a vacancy of her seat with a remaining term ending November 2016. Thousand Oaks Municipal Code Section 1-15.02 requires all vacancies on the Thousand Oaks City Council be filled through election, and that if a vacancy occurs, a special election will be called immediately to fill the city council vacancy. The election must be held not less than 114 days from the call of the special election. Therefore, the election will be called for June 2nd, 2015. The nomination period for this election will be February 9th, 2015 through March 6, 2015. This is the period when candidates can pull and file their paperwork to run for office. You have before you 3 resolutions to adopt in connection with a special election. The first one is a resolution calling and giving notice of holding a special election on June 2nd, 2015 for election of 1 council member to fill a vacancy. The second resolution is requesting Ventura County Board of Supervisors authorize the Elections Division to render services to conduct the special election. The third resolution is adopting candidate statement regulations, and the estimated cost for the statements is $1,240 each. The estimated cost of this standalone election is $200,000. A breakdown for this estimate has been provided by the Ventura County Elections Division and is included in your supplemental packet this evening. Staff is requesting approval of a budget appropriation from the general fund balance to cover this cost. Lastly, the municipal code allows for an interim appointment until the special election is held on June 2nd, or council may leave the seat vacant until the new council member is sworn in. If council chooses to appoint an interim council member, staff is requesting council direction on the appointment process. I'm available for questions.
Any questions for Ms. Lawrence? All right, we have 3 speaker cards on this item. Thomas Adams. After Mr. Adams will be Emery Johnson. And after Mr. Johnson will be Timothy Bond. Good evening, Mr. Adams.
Good evening, Mr. Fox. Good evening, Council. Thank you for the time this evening. I'm speaking on the topic of the special election, and I think it was great that the swearing-in ceremony took place tonight, upholding the Constitution of the United States. There's a mistaken thought out there that the Constitution starts at the White House and trickles down, when in fact constitutional government starts at the local level, right under our own 2 feet. And I know a few years ago there was an appointment, and with a great deal of controversy. I was in this very room when an appointment came through in order to fill a particular seat, because I think people felt as though their constitutional right was being usurped. And whereas there are allowances to go around certain points of state, local, and our national Constitution, I believe it is the people who have the need to be heard, to exercise their right to be able to vote. When someone is appointed, it does give that person something of an advantage in the election to run as an incumbent. I'd like to discourage the council from appointing someone so that the election in June may be completely fair and objective. Voicing the voice of the people, it needs to be heard and accepted. I know there was a great deal of heated debate that night. I was in this room with more than one person on the night that the last time was appointed. Now, Mr. Price has done a great job, but I do remember that the reaction of the people was less than positive to having someone appointed, basically usurping their will. I would simply like to encourage the council to operate with an empty seat and allow the people to be heard on June 9th so that we may be served for our tax dollars, properly served for what our will for the city might be. Thank you very kindly.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Emery Johnson, followed by Timothy Bond. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Fox. Good evening, Council. My name is Emery, and I'm a college student at Moorpark College. And after hearing about this movement that we are trying to appoint or possibly appoint a council member, I feel as a college student who's learning about the way that the government works, starting with the Constitution at the upper levels of government, trickling down, like he said before me, to the lower levels. I feel like as a now functioning member of this community, I feel like it is my constitutional right to be able to have my voice heard in an election towards a candidate who I feel should be appointed to the seat. I feel as if someone is appointed to the council, it is not my opinion is not being heard in regards to my personal freedoms. And I think many others my age as well should be able to have their voices heard. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Timothy Bond will be our last speaker on this.
Good evening,
Mr.
City
Bond.
Council members. Honorable Mayor, I'd like to speak out about the potential of an interim appointment to the vacant City Council position. I have a brief letter I'd like to read to you, and then followed up by a brief comment. And I'd like to submit the letter to the City Clerk for submission to each of you. It reads as, "Dear City Council members, with the long-term relationships of council members, it is assumed that the vacancy in the City Council would not create any hardship in terms of the operation of the City Council. The appointment of an interim council member would most likely not change any of the decisions made by the City Council. Residents of Thousand Oaks believe that representation on the City Council should be only through the electoral process and not through appointment. Inasmuch, there is no legal requirement that a person be appointed as interim council member. Section 1-15.01 of the Thousand Oaks Municipal Code states, "The interests of the citizens of the City of Thousand Oaks are best served by allowing voters to choose council members themselves." Additionally, the Municipal Code Section 1-15.04 states that a person may be appointed, that's may be appointed, I'm repeating here, not on the letter, to fill a vacancy on the council, and this person will hold office only until the date of the special election. This means that a person may, however, does not have to be appointed. It is recommended that the special election for this vacancy be expedited and held as soon as possible. Furthermore, it is strongly recommended that the City Council does not appoint an interim council member, because that would create an unfair advantage for that person when the special election is held. And that being said, if, let's say, I were interested in running for that position next June, the person who's appointed would have somewhat of an unfair advantage, because they'd have experience on the council. They'd have name recognition. You'd be giving them an advantage, and I think that's unfair to the process. And the voters really should have a say-so as to who sits on that council. And furthermore, what would be the criteria you would decide on to make that seat filled? What would you use? Would you go to the voters and ask them? It just seems to create a can of worms that you shouldn't open, that I believe you should give deference to the voters instead in the city. One last thing is, it offers a conundrum. If what you're stating is, when you say that you want to fill it with an interim position, an interim person, is you're saying that your city council's not adequate, not whole, then you're in a conundrum already, in which you're saying that we can't function properly for the citizens of Thousand Oaks, but yet we can function well enough to appoint. So that's all I'd like to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We also have 8 statement cards, written statement cards. 7 are calling for a special election. 1 is calling for appointment. So those will be put into the record as well. All right. So I don't believe we have any further questions of Ms. Lawrence on this item. We do need a motion. Mr. Price.
I am going to move staff's recommendations A, B, and C.
All right, Mr. Price moves items, looks like 1, 2, and 3.
I apologize. Yes, 1, A through C, and also items 2 and 3.
Okay, and just for clarity, Mr. Price, you're actually calling for a special election, not appointment.
Okay, just one moment, please.
that'd be items 1 and 2, as I read it.
Correct. I'm moving items 1 and 2.
All right. Is that correct, Ms. Lawrence, the intent of the council?
Yes, and if you'd like to clarify that whether you want to make an interim appointment or not make an interim appointment for number 3.
All right, what I'm hearing from Mr. Price is he's only moving 1 and 2. Okay. Discussion on the motion. All right, hearing none. Vote, please.
Motion carries 4-0.
All right, that is approved. For clarity, for those of you that have an agenda, council just approved by a 4-0 vote. We will have a special election in June. There will not be an interim appointment, so we will serve with a 4-member council, just so that's clear. All right, that concludes that item. And I didn't see an item 7 on the calendar. Am I missing something? Because it goes right to item 8. It was before 6. Okay, that must have been it. All right, so now we move to item 8. Is that correct? All right, and that's special presentations. And actually, we'll start with our seat dedications. In 1984, the City Council initiated the Council Seat Dedication Program annually to recognize citizens demonstrating outstanding community service. This evening, the City Council is pleased to honor 2 individuals for the 2014 Council Seat Dedication. The honorees are Marge Wilson and Candace Hong. Let me first talk a little bit about Marge Wilson. I'm going to go down to the podium. Okay, very good. Marge, do you want to join me at the podium, or you want to just, are you more comfortable sitting? Okay, very good. Good to see you again. Marge Wilson has been instrumental in helping to preserve the history of the city dating back to the city's 20th anniversary in 1984. The 30th anniversary in 1994, and our latest 50th anniversary in this past October 2014. Marge co-chaired the original committee that started discussions back in 1992 about the time capsule, The Roots of Our Lives, a living time capsule that was dedicated 20 years ago on October 9th, 1994. The time capsule was dedicated in conjunction with the opening of the Civic Arts Plaza. 2 time capsules were filled at that time, one to remain sealed until the 100th anniversary, and the other was to be opened as part of the city's 50th anniversary celebration on October 7th, 2014. Marge played a key role as co-chair of the 2014 Time Capsule Committee for the city's 50th anniversary celebration. Back in 1996, she wrote about the possibility of going into the time capsule consulting business. That never came to fruition. We're glad they didn't put you in the time capsule, Marge. But she did use her expertise again this year by dedicating many hours helping to plan the latest celebration. Marge has lived in Thousand Oaks for 42 years and has been involved in many endeavors such as Youth Employment Service, United Methodist Church, just to name a few. She also recalls working with the Westlake Women's Club and former Mayor and Council Member Francis Prinz to bring a new library to the city of Thousand Oaks, replacing the old library where books were ordered and you had to come back to pick them up. Marge was the first woman Commodore of the Westlake Yacht Club and met her husband of 27 years, Fred Wilson, when she was the 1984 Ventura County Woman of the Year. And he was the 1984 Ventura County Man of the Year. Fred also received a seat dedication in 2014. Between them, they have 3 sons, 2 daughters, 9 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. Marge is 93 years old. That deserves a round of applause. and the city is so honored to have you involved in so many aspects of our city, but in particular preserving our city's history. Marge, we thank you for your many years of service and your contributions to our community, and it is an honor to personally acknowledge you this evening with seat dedication right next to Fred's, who's sitting with you this evening, seat number H11. Marge Wilson.
Good evening, City Council, and thank you so much for honoring me this evening with a seat here. I'm so glad I don't have to come to every one, however. I appreciate this honor. I'm so happy that I'm able to join my husband there, and thank you very much. Oh, there are people here who have helped so much on the Time Capsule Committee. I don't know, where's Michael Arndt? Michael, he's the chairman now. And who else is here? Anybody else from Eloise? Carol Kachakian? Eloise Cohen? They need a lot of credit too. Thank you.
Let's have a picture.
Thank you. Thanks.
Our second honoree this evening is a longtime city employee, our former interim city manager, Candace Hong. It's okay to give Candace applause. Thank you. Candace dedicated 21 years of service to the city of Thousand Oaks. She retired September of 2011. Candace served as senior accountant, finance director, interim city manager, and retired as assistant city manager. As finance director, she provided the city with sound fiscal stewardship to guide our development of balanced budgets and the city's financial strategic plan, and ensured fiscal sustainability through the most difficult times. As assistant city manager, she served as the chief operating officer, the day-to-day person for the city, and was responsible for all city operations. She also worked on special projects such as the fire services study, Thousand Oaks Boulevard specific plan, and funding review options. Candace was given back to her community and by serving the Caneo Las Virgenes Future Foundation, United Methodist Church, and Ventura County Master Gardener Program, to name just a few. Candace has been a city resident for 34 years. She has been married to Jerry Hong for 43 years, has 2 children, Carrie Ann and Greg, and 2 favorite little guys, grandchildren, Mark and Luke, with another grandchild on the way. Candace, we thank you. Let me just, as an aside, Candace served as our interim city manager at a very difficult time in our city's history. And when council was trying to find somebody who was apolitical but knew the city, somebody that we can count on, who was really a servant leader, you will find no greater person than Countess Hong. She served that in that capacity extremely well. I, for one, will remember you for the great work that you did there, in addition to all your years as a finance director. So, Candace, we just thank you so much for your service. It's an honor to personally acknowledge you this evening with seat dedication number M22. Congratulations.
Mayor Fox, thank you for your kind words, and thank you, City Council, for this honor. To have a seat dedicated with my name on it is truly special, so thank you so much.
Mayor Fox, would you mind remaining at the podium, because we have some dignitaries and luminaries that would like to acknowledge your achievements as mayor. And first up is Jason Barnes. He's representing Congresswoman Julia Brownley from the 26th District. Jason?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Adam. Good evening, council members. It's an honor to be here on behalf of Congresswoman Julia Brownley and her office. We're here this evening to present Mayor Fox with a special certificate of congressional recognition. Mayor Fox, thank you for your invaluable service, your commitment to this community and the city of Thousand Oaks, and your service to the people. On behalf of Congresswoman Brownley, thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Next, we have Marie Lakin. She represents Senator Fran Pavley, State Senate District 27.
I just want to say what a great year this was for the city of Thousand Oaks, and I think you should have all these parties and parades every single year. So anyway, the perfect person to preside over all this was you, Andy, and the senator would like to thank you for your many, many years of service. She really, really appreciates this. And on behalf of State Senator Fran Pavley and the entire State Senate, we'd like to present you with this certificate of recognition.
Thank you, Marie. Mayor Fox, Supervisor Parks was unable to attend this evening, but she did send you a proclamation and wish you well in your coming years on the council. And Mr. Adams has a proclamation for you. There you go. And next we have the inimitable Mayor Bob Huber from our sister city of Simi Valley.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem Adam. It's always a privilege and pleasure to be here on behalf of our city council. We feel a kindred spirit with your city. I want to congratulate the three of you on your re-election. Well deserved. As you know, for a number of years now, we work closely together, meeting with the three mayors and the three city managers periodically on issues that are involved here between our cities. And this year I've been here a couple times because I had the privilege of being here on your 50th anniversary, and it's apropos that your longest serving council member was the mayor this year, and you've had a wonderful year. We're very proud to call you our sister city, and we're very proud of the service of Mayor Fox this year, and we look forward to, as a city, working with all of you. In fact, I'm going to be with some of you on Friday, one of you on Friday, after you decide who your mayor is going to be at the City Selection Committee at 7:30 in the morning in Camarillo. In any event, we have this with a great deal of pleasure. I present you the certificate of recognition may be known. The certificate of recognition is presented to Andrew P. Fox in appreciation for the partnership between our cities during your term as mayor. And thank you very much for your service.
Thank you, Mayor Huber. And from the Conejo-Reckon Park District, we have the chair, Joe Gibson, and General Manager Jim Friedel. And make that George Lang.
Yes, unfortunately, Chair Gibson is stuck in traffic. He had a meeting in Santa Paula this evening, but as the elder statesman for the Conejo Recreation and Park District, I've been asked to present say a few words to outgoing Mayor Andy Fox. So many of you realize and understand the relationship between the city and the Park District. It's a relationship that many other cities, and I know Simi Valley has the same type of relationship with their Rec and Park District, but so much gets accomplished. And in our area, the city and the Park District has accomplished a lot with the teen center, the senior center, Caneo Open Space, Casca. Those are just to name a few of the ongoing projects that we work together on. Now, here's a short list of a few other good things that happened under your watch, Andy. During this past year, the city sponsored Concert in the Park. Beatlemania was a record attendance of over 6,000 people. I mean, that's usually we're in the 4,000 or 5,000 figure, but the Beatlemania, sponsored by the city, drew over 6,000 people this year. Increased support for the Caneo Senior Volunteer Program. You played a part in that. Started the trailhead parking lot, restrooms, and public access improvement at Rancho Potrero. We received a $200,000 grant for a new playground at El Parque de La Paz. Helped break a world record of the longest Lego chain in support of the Rotary Dreamcatcher program, and that occurred right after the parade on the celebration of the 50th anniversary. And I'm assuming there's going to be some additional recognition for that world record, Guinness Book of Record. And of course, you and your council colleagues were instrumental in creating and supporting Visioning 2064. The process has just started an important public dialogue about where we're headed as a community in the future. So Andy, with all these accomplishments, we thought we'd give you a gift to help you really remember how important your year was. And one thing I think sticks in many people's mind that brought the city of Thousand Oaks to the headlines across the world, international spotlight. We've got something that we hope that'll help you remember this year. Jim Friedel?
There you go, Andy. May come out of a fireplace. Beautiful. Great. White cobra.
It's a white cobra, everybody. And on behalf of another fellow board member, Ed Jones, and the rest of the board that's not here this evening, Andy, congratulations and thank you so much.
Thank you very much, George and Jim. Ed, if you wouldn't mind remaining at the podium, Mr. Ed Jones, because Ed's going to lead the retired mayors in their traditional presentation of the mayor's mug.
Andy, we came to mug you. I got the mug. I'd like to introduce the former mayors in the order in which they served. Our elder statesman is Dick or Richard Hoos. Dick, you want to say hello? Or?
Hello.
Okay. Next would be our late arrival here, Chuck Cohn. Next would be Ray Garcia. There's Ray. Larry Horner is here. Frank Schillo, wearing this wild coat here. And Bob Lewis, who just had back surgery, and very good to have him here tonight. You know, if you'd indulge me just a moment, we had a very nostalgic and wonderful program at noon today, in which a lot of former people were recognized. And if you would just bear with me a moment, I'd like to give a few anecdotes about a gentleman that we all served with, Alex Fiore. As I'm saying, it brought him to my mind, the reminiscence we had this noon. It reminded me of serving with Alex, and I would just like to say I'm so glad we've named the teen center and the Fiore Field for him, because he was truly a pioneer in this city. He was one of the 5 original councilmen. I had the pleasure of serving with him from 1970 to 1974. He was great to be around and truly had a magnetic personality. If he met a new group, he would be their best friend in no time. He and I went to a function, we were both running in 1970. We went to the same group over at the Village Clubhouse, Village Homes in Westlake Village. And after we left, I said, Alex, I didn't know you knew all those people. He said, I never met them before. But They all knew him right away. He was the only elected official I ever served with who could start a sentence on one side of an issue and, while speaking, observe a negative audience reaction and then somehow end the sentence on the other side of the issue. He said if he didn't see his name in the paper, he would simply look for the word fire and simply write an O in the middle of it. In reviewing a legal case we might be involved with, I think Chuck and Ray will remember this, he would refer to what was known as amicus curiae. Bob, you're familiar with that term, as curious Americans. He continually used irregardless instead of regardless. And in referring to a street layout that presented a traffic problem, instead of calling it a sight distance problem, he called it a sight vision problem. Worked for him. And finally, Al was a great friend of me. And when I was on the Board of Supervisors and had an office in Chuck's building there at One Boardwalk, Alex would come down occasionally in the afternoon and we would reminisce. When Sparky Anderson won his World Series with Detroit, after winning earlier with Cincinnati, Al and I painted a congratulatory sign together and posted it on the freeway. Thanks for bearing with me. I would just say he died too soon, and I know we all miss him. And on behalf of him in absentia and everybody else, if that was not enough nostalgia, I'd like to present you, Andy, with this mug for the great job you always do. And I've seen you at this many times, and you always outdo yourself.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Anybody else?
Want to get a picture, Carl?
Yeah, that would be good. Guys, you want to do a picture?
Am I standing on anybody here?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause for these 7 former mayors. Really made a positive difference in the history of Thousand Oaks. Thank you, fellas. And next, from the Greater Conejo Valley Chamber of Commerce, we have the President and CEO, Jill Lederer.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Adam. I have with me tonight Adam Haverstock, our Manager of Government and Tourism Affairs, and also Rick Lemo, our Chair Emeritus and also Chair-elect from Caruso Affiliated. So today was a day of a lot of celebrations. You heard earlier that we had our State of the City address, a great partnership between the fantastic city staff, a premier city staff, the Chamber, and of course our hometown university, California Lutheran. We're celebrating Mayor Fox's 20th year in office, the city's 50th anniversary, and we just heard about Mayor Alex Fiore, who we do all miss. And of course, Mayor Fox has followed in his footsteps and the footsteps of so many great previous mayors before him by balancing the needs of business with the needs of the community and the residents and great government as well. We are so proud to have you serving as our mayor. This has not just been one great year for you. It's been the same as the 19 that have preceded it. You gave it your very best. The city is better for it. And on behalf of the Greater Conejo Valley Chamber of Commerce, we thank you for that. And here is a token of our thanks.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Council. First of all, congratulations both to Andy and Claudia on their re-election and Council Member Joel Price on his election. I'm here tonight not only on behalf of our chamber, but on behalf of business entities in our area and also as a person who lives here as well. And this is one of those nights where thank you really seems inadequate, not only to all of you, but for hanging in there 20 years. I know you really enjoy when residents come up here and speak for hours and hours on end, and you're probably going to get home before 2 or 3 in the morning, and that's going to just throw off your whole week. But we appreciate what you all do, and you have a 24-hour day of public service. Not only are you here, but you're one of our firefighters. And so on behalf of my company, certainly, and on behalf of our founder, Rick Caruso, as well as the Chamber, and as you know, some of the other nonprofits I represent, thank you very much for a job that could not be done better by anybody else.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Jill, Adam, and Rick. And now we have our city manager, Mr. Scott Mitnick. I'd like to make a presentation on behalf of the city employees and our E-team.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council, Mr. Mayor, on behalf of the 600 or so city employees who are represented by the 14 members of the executive team who are behind me or scattered about, we just would like to say, good job.
Okay.
Thank you, Scott. Andy, if you return to the dais for a moment, please. Andy, this is a small memento on behalf of your service as a sixth term as mayor of Thousand Oaks. It just shows the confidence that these councils have had in Andy Fox as their leader. And this is a small memento, but I hope it's a meaningful one for you. I'd like to present it to you on behalf of the city council. Right. I think what we want to do now is traditionally the council members have some remarks to our outgoing mayor. So why don't we start with Council Member Joel Price.
Thank you. Andy, I want to, just as Nancy Frawley did on behalf of Jackie, I'd like to echo what Jackie had to say from afar, and that is to thank you for the past year. You've been a great mentor to me. I marvel at some of the things that you are able to bring us together on, and it was truly fitting that you were the mayor for this 50th year, being the longest serving council member now on this council. And I look forward to serving the next 4 years with you as well. This is difficult for me to say to a fireman. You've done an outstanding job for the last 20 years, and I know that you're going to continue that, and I look forward to it. Thank you.
Councilmember Bill de la Pena.
Thank you. First of all, Mayor Fox, congratulations on your reelection to an astounding 6th term. You are Teflon and quite the Energizer Bunny who just keeps on going and going and going. And I am just so very pleased that after all these years, when we were on opposing sides and we still won't agree on everything, that I can say that it is a pleasure and has been a pleasure working with you. I've gotten to know you a lot better than I have before, say, the year 2012, for example. We actually communicate much better now, much more frequently now, whereas the first 10 years, there really was no communication. And it is so wonderful to finally get along with you and the rest of the council. The fact that we were open to suggestions and open to accepting our differing views and opinions, that to me will always be the most important thing that I will remember about you. And secondly, I would like to say that I commend you on the work that you have done, not only this year, but the 19 years before that. Working and having a family, there are so many things that go on in your life, and you wouldn't be able to do this without the support of your family and your wife, Letitia. And I said that also during Jackie's departure. Family is very important. It is very important to you. It's very important to me, and I'm sure everybody else. So thank you for all you have done, for what you have become, and congratulations from the bottom of my heart.
Very nice. Thank you. Well, Andy, this is the year where the past met the future, and you led us through that year. It was only fitting that the member with the most seniority would do so, and I'm very happy that you were the guy to do it. Like Claudia, I got to know you a little bit better this year, too. We worked on the theater budget project together, and I hope we stabilized our theaters, but better yet, I got to see you with the mediation skills and the experience that you have. You brought the stakeholders together, and we had a positive outcome. And those skills you bring to the table are just really excellent, really excellent. You led our visioning campaign, and I think your 20 years of experience with the city was fundamental in making that a success. Colin Powell once said, leadership is problem solving. I think that's what you do best. You're a problem solver, and that's what we need in this city. And you've done it by including all the council members with a real give and take attitude, and I think that's important. And I know, as Claudia said, I know you value the cooperation that this council has managed to achieve, and as we all do. And you once said to me that you thought that this might have been the best council you've served on in 20 years, and that's really meant a lot to me, and I'm sure it means a lot to my fellow council members. He also said to me that you would never believe some of the relationships that have developed in the last year and some of the headway that this council has achieved, and it's true. We've really come a long way, and you are an invaluable member of this council. I really believe that. And Andy, these are your legacy years. These are your legacy years, and I'm happy to be a small part of that. And I know you are going to leave a great legacy. I look forward to working with you in 2015. And as you always say at the end of every issue, that is approved. So congratulations, Andy.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you first to all the folks that came down today for the State of the City speech, and those that are here today. As I do every time I'm in this position, and I can't not leave the mayor's job without thanking those that went before us. I'm so pleased that we have our former mayors here. I spend a lot of time in the State of the City today, and maybe even opened a few eyes on just what a great job our founding fathers did in very difficult times, things that we take for granted today, the Oaks Mall, the Auto Mall, our general plan, and so many just huge decisions that today we seem like Thousand Oaks has always been there. Those men and women were the folks over the last 50 years that had the political courage and the true vision of where we needed to go as a community, all at the same time protecting the character of Thousand Oaks. We are cities still surrounded by permanent open space. We are still one of the safest cities in the nation. We have some of the best schools in the country. The list really goes on. And while we're here now, we are really truly resting on the shoulders of those that came before us. So I just want to, as I look out here, I just want to thank those gentlemen, those men and women, and in particularly a guy that's sitting in the front row, Bob Lewis. It's been well documented now that Bob chose me for a planning commission spot. A complete, total unknown. I was a young firefighter, and contrary to what some folks believe, and I think we have shown it here on this city council as well, we don't always pick our friends and political supporters for commissions, and I'm living proof of that. We had never met, and he showed a tremendous amount of political courage again in allowing me the opportunity to serve our community, and have it not been for him, I am certain I would not be sitting here now 20 years later. So Bob, personally, thank you for all that you've done. Serving as mayor is really, truly an honor because we have a great city and we have a great council. And I just want to thank my council colleagues. This has been, and there have been others, but maybe I've been around so long that I've forgotten them. This has been a challenging year for the Fox family in many ways. We had a number of family emergencies. Thankfully, everybody's fine, but Letitia and I have 8 kids between the two of us. And we had a few hospital visits, and Al had to step in on a few occasions, literally at the last moment. And for him to step in, I just have to say, Mayor Pro Tem, we have to serve and help the mayor. But in this particular year, with the city's anniversary and everything, I just can't thank Al enough for stepping in many times the last minute, looking at the script and having to be kind of the master of ceremony. So Al, I just wanted to thank you for your efforts there. Joel, what a pleasure it is having you on the council. I can't think of a time on this city council that I didn't serve with a police officer. Usually it's 2 of you, which makes it about even, if you know what I'm talking about. Joel was appointed to the council, and just a quick side note, having been on the council for a while, we have called for special elections, and we have made appointments. And I think council does it respecting people's viewpoint on what we believe is best for the city. And in each and every case, those individuals have been reelected in an open election, not a special election, but an open election. Joel, and you did that, and I know I speak for all of us on the council, what a great addition you are. And as a public servant, 3 decades as a Los Angeles police officer, and I know you're going to serve the city well in your newly elected capacity as a new council member. So congratulations to you. So finally, Claudia. And Claudia and I certainly have had our differences over the years, but I can tell you, and I could look in her eyes while she was talking, that no one appreciates the relationship both that we share on the council and as a council as we have collectively more than her and I. Claudia just got elected to her 4th term. So I think that was our commitment to this community, while we might take different roads, there is never a question that we really truly are trying to do what's best for our community and for the city, both in the long and the short term. Her 2 boys are here, so she's raising a family, has a working mother, and I just have so much respect for all the mothers that have served on our council, working mothers or just stay-at-home moms, to spend the time and effort away from their kids. Maybe it's a little chauvinistic on my part, but I just think that's a bigger sacrifice than those of us that go to work every day. And so, Claudia, just thank you so much for the effort, the sacrifice, and I look forward to working with you for the next 4 years. Two more thanks. First, our city staff. Scott, let me just say unequivocally, and I know I'm joined here by virtually every city staff member, the single best speech in your entire career. Right there. You know, I'm just so you know, I'm pretty hard on Scott. I don't see him very often. I know he has regular meetings with the other council members. I see him certainly the least of the other council members, and arguably may be the hardest on him, although he's an easy target. So, but running the city is no small feat, and Scott has met each and every challenge. As I've mentioned a couple of times, maybe his greatest strength is picking his executive team, because we have outstanding senior executives, from our assistant city manager to right down the lines for our department heads. And Scott has his tenure. I believe he's the most tenured city manager in the Ventura County now, and he has his leadership has served us well. I love his sense of humor, his commitment to his family as well. And so, Scott, as you represent all the city staff, just thanks for the support of this past year. Thanks very much. Finally, she's sitting in the front row. I just got to thank my wife, Letitia, who runs our household with everything that I'm doing. And we have a very active household with high school football players and middle-aged, teenage, and older kids and everything going on. And honey, just thanks for all the support and your patience, the late nights and everything else. I love you and I appreciate it. Thanks very much. So again, it's been an honor to serve. I'm looking forward to a sixth term, and we have a great city. We should all feel great about that. If there was one takeaway from today's State of the City, was that we didn't get here by accident. It was through the courage and the hard work and the vision of those before us. And one pledge that I will make you, and I don't make very many, is my promise to you is, as a council, we will continue to work as hard as we can on your behalf. Thanks very much. Item 9 is the council reorganization. Now's the time for the 2014 council reorganization. I don't believe you have any speaker cards in this item, do we, Ms. Lawrence? Will the city clerk now open nominations for the position of mayor?
Nominations are now in order and open for the office of mayor for the city of Thousand Oaks.
Mr. Price.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Fox. I think I'm saying that for probably the last time. But, well, not the last time this year, anyway. But it gives me great pleasure. Just a few years ago, actually just a year ago, I nominated Al Adam as Mayor Pro Tem, and he has sat in that chair now for a year, and he has done a fantastic job, as Mayor Fox pointed out, filling in on occasion for the mayor. And I think it is fitting and proper for him to ascend to the chair, and I would nominate him as mayor for 2015.
Mr. Price nominates Mayor Pro Tem Al Adam for the position of mayor. Any other nominations? With that, I will close nominations. And just to make it official, vote please.
Motion carries 4-0.
Al, that is approved.
Now, this is where we switch chairs. Okay, thank you. Why don't we, I'll forego my remarks to the end, and we do have a call for remarks from my fellow council members, if you would like to make some. Why don't we start, well, let's go down with Joel, because, yeah. Oh, I beg your pardon, we have to do Mayor Pro Tem.
I can always speak, but...
Yes, yes. Almost forgot. So, yeah, let me open the floor for nominations for Mayor Pro Tem. Councilmember Bill de la Pena.
Congratulations, Mayor Adam.
Thank you.
And that is Adam with no S?
That's correct.
All right. It is my pleasure to nominate none other than Councilmember Joel Price to be Mayor Pro Tem. Joel, you were appointed, you are now elected, and in the last 2.5 or so years, you have done an outstanding job representing the residents of Thousand Oaks. It's been a pleasure working with you. It's always great working with you. You have quite the sense of humor, and I'm looking up at your wife here. Yes, she knows. She knows. And you represent the city very well everywhere you go. And I think that the nomination of Mayor Pro Tem is very well deserved, and I know you will be doing a fantastic job in 2015 as Mayor Pro Tem, filling in for Al whenever he's not available, or just in general representing the city. I look forward to working with you for the next 4 years and continuing the very positive relationship that we have enjoyed thus far. So I nominate Councilmember Price.
Thank you. I don't hear any other nominations, of course, so we're going to close the nominations, and to make it official, let us vote.
Motion carries 4-0.
All right. Well deserved, Mayor Pro Tem Price. So, now we do have a comment session, if anyone would like to start. Mayor Pro Tem Price, would you like to go?
Well, thank you, Claudia, for the nomination, and thank the rest of the council members for the confidence in me. I look forward to filling in, pinch hitting for Al, Mayor Adam, with no S, whenever that might be necessary. But it's been an honor to serve this past year, and actually this past 2.5 years. It's been a tremendous honor. I look forward to continuing to serve for the next 4 years. I really look forward to getting out more and getting to know more people in the community, and soliciting input on the many important things that we have before us here in the coming years. So I think you will see a little bit more of me out in the community. Sorry, Janine. But I should also thank my wife, who's in the audience here as well, because, and actually, she's kind of laughing at me, but it was Al Adam who pointed out to me today, while we were at the State of the City, that I have a supportive wife, one who is behind me and everything that I do here as a council member. She attends a lot of functions that I think she enjoys, but she gives of herself, and I appreciate that. Thank you. So, anyway. With that, I look forward to serving as your Mayor Pro Tem, Mayor Adam, and that is all.
Thank you, Joel. Claudia?
Yes, congratulations again, Mayor Adam, Mayor Pro Tem Price. I really look forward to working with the two of you and with Andy the next 4 years. I know that, Mayor Adam, you will be doing a fabulous job as mayor. It will be busy, and your family will see less of you. Marilyn has been forewarned, and the same goes for Janine, Mrs. Price. Your husbands will be very much in demand, representing the city and the residents of Thousand Oaks. I really enjoy working with the two of you, and again, congratulations, and it will be a very good 2015, I think.
Andy?
Joel, let me first congratulate you on the appointment of Mayor Pro Tem. And just again, I know you're going to do a great job, and just looking forward to working with you over the next 4 years. Mr. Mayor, just congratulations. For you, it's been a long road, and I have not forgotten. And I'm just so pleased and happy that you are now serving as the city's mayor. You have a true passion and commitment for our community. Al is the business person on the community. Joel and I both work in public safety, and Claudia worked in the media. So if you're looking for a business advocate, Al's your guy. He's a longtime business person, and he brings that perspective to the council. And I think one of the reasons why we function as well is the diversity that we bring to the table. And Al's always reminding us of that. And I know that he will do a good job as the ambassador for our community and our city, equally well as running the meetings as well. And I just wish you and Marilyn, your whole family, congratulations, and look forward to helping you any way I can.
Thank you, Andy. Well, I want to thank my fellow council members for their confidence in me. It really is truly an honor to be appointed by you as mayor of the city of Thousand Oaks. I want to thank my family, my wife Marilyn, my two daughters, Allison and Erica. I appreciate your patience and understanding with Daddy on the city council. It's good to have your support. It really is. And as Andy said, it has been a long journey for me. I am a charter member of the Al Adam Third Time's a Charm election club. I'm one of the few, so it's kind of amazing to be sitting here. I guess this means I don't have to park at Pep Boys anymore. I get my own space now, so that's good. You know, I must say, we have accomplished a lot in the last year or two. We really have. We've adopted pension reform, and we did it in an equitable and fair way where the city employees and the city council members are helping to pay for their retirement now. Our safe city status is secure. Our theaters are steady. The Alliance for the Arts has undergone a tremendous renaissance in the last couple of years. We tackled campaign finance reform, and the five of us, I should say, really put our heads together, and I think we did a good job with that. We got through our 50th anniversary. Our schools have never been better, and we accomplished our visioning campaign. And I think at this point, for 2015, it's time to turn the visioning priorities into reality. To me, it'll be a year of implementation, a year of action. And the good part is we have a council that's focused, working well together. The rancor of the past has receded. And, you know, everywhere I go, and Frank Schiller just mentioned this to me when he came up to Dice, everywhere I go, the most common thing I hear is, thank you for working so well together. We really appreciate what the council's doing and how they're getting along. And I think that means a lot to all four of us. So we're going to continue that. And for 2015, just a couple things on my mind, and I think on our fellow council members' mind. Our downtown, I'd like to see a vibrant, exciting downtown. I'd like to see shops with people. I mean, we have a good start. We have the Gardens of the World. We have the Civic Arts Plaza. We have the lakes, but we can build on that. You know, we need some more retail. We need a little better parking, maybe some housing, a little better pedestrian access, a little better connectivity with the surrounding neighborhoods to get to our downtown, because a walkable, interesting downtown is something that this city really deserves. It'll create a true sense of community and a true gathering place, and we're going to concentrate on that in the coming year. Another thing that we're looking at, and this came up during the visioning meetings, has to do with tourism, which is important to the city, and we want it to be even more important. We want to create perhaps an annual attraction here in town that would have to do with the boulevard, and we'd open up the boulevard to pedestrians, to joggers, to walkers, to bikes, to baby carriages, anything but cars, for a certain amount of time, and we think it will be good for business. I think it'll be good for the boulevard, and it may even create a little bit of tourism that we're looking for. So that's a special event that we hope to work on later this year. You know, our infrastructure, we're a 50-year-old city, so our infrastructure is aging. We have to keep up with that. It's important. And we do have some projects that we're going to finish up. Erbs Road is coming to a completion. The oldest road in the city is finally going to be modernized. The 10123 freeway continues to be under construction, and I know you all want to see that clog in front of the mall disappear, and that will soon. You're probably familiar with the telephone poles on Westlake Boulevard that run towards the Auto Mall and towards Westlake High School. We're going to underground those this year. It'd be a beautification for the boulevard, and it might even allow a little room for Westlake High School to build a visitor seating at the school. So we'll see if that happens. And of course, Hillcrest Drive is going to be restriped, which will make it a safer, easier passage. So we have some infrastructure projects underway that I think will be good for the city. And as Andy said, one of the most important things we can do this year is support our local businesses. This city relies heavily on sales tax. So I'm going to launch an economic development strategic plan that I think will help to recruit and retain businesses here in Thousand Oaks for the next decade. And we do have some great businesses in Thousand Oaks. In the semiconductor field, we have Inphi, we have Skyworks Solutions, Sage Publications, Les Robles Hospital, the Auto Mall, the Oaks Mall, J.D. Power. I mean, these are stellar businesses, and not to mention the hundreds of local small businesses that support our economy and create jobs. And we have to support these companies. We have to provide the kind of housing and the skilled workforce that they need for their continued success and for their commitment to Thousand Oaks. And lastly, we need to continue to do what we do best in this city. It's to be a family-oriented community, to provide a quality of life that is safe, with great streets, great schools, recreation, plenty of open space. That's what we do best, and we're going to continue to do it, because I know every city council member here has either raised or is raising their children in this very town, and I know how committed each one of us are to the city of Thousand Oaks. We care about the city, and we're going to make sure that the city stays a great place. So in deference to some of the history that we heard today, we started it as a city with no name until a 14-year-old boy came up with the idea to call us Thousand Oaks. Thousands of head of cattle used to roam the valley. Now it's 129,000 people. We were once known for a wild animal park, and the roars of Leo the lion would echo around Thousand Oaks, and now we're known as one of the safest cities in America and a great place to raise a family. We once had thousands of majestic oaks and acres of open space, and today we still have thousands and thousands of acres of open space and majestic oaks. So some things never change here in Thousand Oaks. We're going to always make sure that continues. We've come a long way in this city. We have great people. We have a great history. And we have a great future. Really, the sky is the limit for the city of Thousand Oaks. And I know wherever you are, and I know I feel this way, and whatever you may be doing, it's always very good to come home to the city of Thousand Oaks. So thank you, and I really am looking forward to serving as your mayor for 2015. And we're going to adjourn now and head out to the lobby for a little conviviality and some refreshments. So thank you.